Hello friends, Ace Botane next episode. Today we will be discussing last part of the morphology of the flowering plants, that is seventh one, chapter 5. And today we'll be discussing 4 remaining families: Compositae, Graminae, Cisalpinae, and Mimosae. So all families will be over, morphology will be finished. Then remaining 2 more chapters in first year, theoretical chapter, that is cell, the basic unit of life, as well as biological classification. So we can proceed. So convenience, I will share the screen, so it will be easy for you. I think screen A. So we can proceed. Chapter 5, Morphology of Flowering Plants, 7th part. And what all things we'll be discussing in this episode. As usual, there will be an introduction, then remaining 4 families. Then after that, 5 theory question, 5 NEET model question with the key as usual. Meanwhile, short question daily coming. Theory will be coming. Then questions, 25, 30 questions, that also will be continuing. So subscribe, Ace Botane, so you'll be getting all this. So we can proceed. So introduction, I already told you what all things we'll be discussing and what are the families remaining. Now we can enter into first family for today. It is Compositae. That is previous name, modern name is Asteraceae, common name is sunflower family. Then what is its systematic position? That gives us a clue what all characters it can possess. Class Dicotyledonate, subclass Gamopetalae, so petals will be fused. Series Inferae, so inferior ovary. Order or cohort is Astrales, family Asteraceae. So Asteraceae, Compositae, sunflower family is one of the largest family among dicots. It is having a worldwide distribution, mainly herbs, maybe annuals, or can be even shrubs. Tree forms comparatively less. Typical example for a tree form. I think first page is clear to all of you. So typical example for a tree form, it is Vernonia arborea, arbor tree. Climbers also can be seen. Now coming into a root system. See, normally it is a dicot family, so it is taproot. But here we can also find root tubers in certain cases, as in the case of dahlia tubers. GFR sedimentation, etc. you studied in zoology. Dahlia tubers, inulin crystals, etc. Now coming into stem. Stem is usually slender. Presence of trichomes we can observe, and leaves, typically dicot leaf, alternate, sometimes opposite. Inflorescence. So in Compositae or Asteraceae, sunflower family, flowers are small. So to get the attention, these all small flowers will be aggregate to form inflorescence. And the most famous inflorescence of Compositae is called head or capitulum. And scientists suggest it is the one of the most advanced inflorescence. So why? What is the reason? What they suggest is in this capitulum or head, minimum material consumption is done with the maximum efficiency. And this entire head is analogous to a single flower. Why or how? Due to the involucral bracts, and function is to protect. That is regarding inflorescence. And basically, simple heads are of 3 types. NCERT, that part is not directly mentioned, but namesake I'm telling. Discoid heads will be there, radiate heads will be there, ligulate heads will be there. Not in NCERT, but namesake I just told it, that's all. Now flowers. Technically, flowers are regular or irregular. Epigynous, pendamerous, bisexual or unisexual, complete or incomplete, ligulate or tubular, bracteate or ebracteate. Florets. So what is meant by floret? Because we will be using the term disc floret, ray florets. Florets means individual small flowers. That is why it is called florets. Example is ray florets and disc florets. I think this page is clear. This is the head inflorescence. Now we can proceed to next. This is the famous floral diagram and floral formula. So 2 types of florets can be seen. One is ray floret. Everything I written there, ray floret. This is a disc floret. Connected with NCERT photographs. Not in present NCERT, previous edition. So ray florets. That is the usual question differences. Ray floret is zygomorphic, say due to this gap, zygomorphic. And ray florets normally, androecium is 0. So androecium 0 means it is female. And ray florets will be towards periphery. Diagram you can find here, this is ray florets, and central part is disc florets. And when we come to disc floret, it is actinomorphic. See, through center we can get two equal halves. Actinomorphic, bisexual, both the sex organs are there, and that is towards center. So this part is disc floret, periphery is ray floret, floral formula given, both case that we can learn later. So beautiful floral diagram, and flowers also for comparison shown there. So it'll be easy for you. Now coming into calyx. Calyx is present. Floral formula future you can find. And it is represented by hairy bristles, which is otherwise called pappus. So in composite, calyx modified into pappus. The question. And it helps in liberation. So that means it can float due to this pappus. So parachute mechanism helping for dispersal, etc., specifically seed, etc. Calyx. Now coming into corolla. Corolla, 5 in number, floral formula you can check there. It is gamopetalous, forms a tubular structure. And here also 3 types are there, not needed that much, just 3 types are there. Now coming into androecium. Androecium stamens 5, again formula if you check you can find. Here it is 0, here it is 5. Epipetalous, filamentous, and syngenetious, that term now you will be familiar, and there's united filaments free. Gynoecium, bicarpellaries in carpus inferior, unilocular, and the placentation is basal. Composite and graminate placentation is basal. I think up to that it is clear. Now coming into fruit. Fruit famous, Cypsella, with the persistent hairy pappus helps in dispersal. Seed, non-endospermic, dicot family. Hairy pappus helps in dispersal of seeds. That is regarding description part. Now when we come to the floral diagram and floral formula. First one, it is ray florets. So zygomorphic, female, K pappus, C5, A0, that is why here it is female only. Ovary inferior, bicarpellary, united. The other side, disc floret. It is actinomorphic. Here it was zygomorphic. It is actinomorphic, bisexual, K pappus modified into pappus. Then petals 5 united, androecium 5 united, epipetalous, ovary inferior, bicarpellary, united. That way we can get it. Now plants with economic size. It's a big family, so some members, that's all. Numerous plants are there. First is Sycorium intybus. This is the plant in which now you may be familiar with the coffee blending with an item called chicory. That is from this plant, and chicory is taken from roots and leaves. Then Lactocas sativa, leafy vegetables, lettuce. Artemisia, it is a vermifuge. Hemilia songifolia, eye treatment. And there are a large number of garden plants, some of it, Zinnia, Dahlia, Chrysanthemum, Aster, Daisies, all this. And many weeds are also there. Some of it include famous Parthenium, commonly called carrot grass or corngrass grass, Xanthium, bloomy, etc. That is regarding composite. Now coming into next family, Poaceae, another important large family. Poaceae is otherwise called graminae or grass family, and study of grasses comes under a branch called agrestology. Previous IC AR question, agriculture question, study of grasses, agrestology. Class Monocotyledone, series Blumaceae, family Poaceae. Again, one of the largest family, highest position in Bentham-Rooker system, that is Graminae. Economically most important family because most of the food item we consume comes from this family. I will show it later. Now we can proceed to next page. It is cosmopolitan, mainly herbs. As advancement is there, it will be more towards herbs. Rarely shrubs, trees, it is there very less, Dendrocalamus and Bambusa. Stem in Graminae is called cum, C-U-L-M-S. What is cum? Aerial stems are generally hollow, shape is cylindrical, nodes and internodes usually end by inflorescence. Some variations also can be seen in stem. Now coming into leaves. Leaves will be alternate, it can be simple, it can be linear, with the monocot. Monocot means parallel venation, and presence of ligule at the junction of the lamina. And here in Graminae, grasses, we already studied previously rolling and unrolling nature based on the availability of water. And this rolling and unrolling, connected with anatomy, we studied it. It is connected with a specific cell in monocot. It is called bulliform cells or motor cells concerned with the turgidity and flaccidity. It will roll up and roll down. Now, inflorescence. Inflorescence in Graminae is called spikelet. A small or secondary spikelet means small. And here, some variations are there. That is why different diagrams are given there. One or two belongs to old NCERT. Other one I drawn there. So here, first time we have to discuss is rachilla. Rachilla means spikelet has got a small axis. And from there, this diagram is more useful. I label everything. It bears two opposite rows of bracts, closely packed, one above the other. Generally, the two lowest, so these two lowest bracts are sterile and are called sterile globes. First and second, sterile globes. The sterile globes are followed by, now we are going up, fertile globe or lemma or flowering globes. I labeled there everything, this one. Fertile globe, lemma, etc. And remember, lemma bears a long, stiff process called on. On will be there on lemma. I think that part is clear. Next, we have to proceed with a little bit more lengthwise, height-wise. So fertile globe or lemma or flowering globes. Then above it, we can find pallia. Pallia is a structure that also I marked there. Pallia is a structure present between fertile globe and rachilla. So lemma, pallia, then empty globes, all familiar, I think. This diagram is, I purposefully drawn this, so it will be easy for you. This will be another one, but they will be more simple to follow. So notice the diagram is there, labeling is there, everything clear. This is spikelet of grass, famous one, inflorescence. This is previous NCERT diagram. There also we can find that arrangement, etc. Just shown there, Criticum aestivum. At that time, this was there in the syllabus, graminate. Now we can proceed to flowers. Flowers usually bisexual. Then there is a term lodicule. Lodicule here you can find. It's a usual question. Lodicule is nothing but perianth, represented by 2 or 3 minute scale structure called lodicules at the base of the flower. Lodicule is equivalent to perianth 2 to 3. Androecium, monocots, so usually 3 or multiples of 3. It is 3 or 6, versatile and polyandrous. Gynoecium, normally monocarpillary. Here you can find normally monocarpillary. Superior, unilocular. Placentation is basal. So previous family and this family both basal. And feathery stigma, so attract pollen grains coming through air. Fruit generally called caryopsis or grain. That is the main item, or sometimes it can be nut or berry. And this is the floral diagram and floral formula form. Different floral diagram I shown there, different editions. This is a colored one. So I can find zygomorphic. Both sexes are there, so bisexual. We will be calling perianth, that is lodicule 2 to 3. Androecium, since it is monocot 3 or multiples of 3, 3 to 6. Ovary, superior 1. Or sometimes it can be ovary, tricarpillary united, etc. That slightly varies. That is regarding floral diagram and floral formula of graminate. Now we can proceed to plants with economic side. A big list is there. I just wrote some important items we are regularly consuming. Oryza sativa rice, Triticum aestivum wheat, maize, Avena sativa oats, Sicyl cereal rye, Odium vulgare barley, Sorghum vulgare java, Penicillium typhoid bajra, otherwise called pearl millet. Eleusine coracanite is called ragi or finger millet. Saccharum officinarum, which is otherwise called sugar cane. And after that, bamboos will be there. So Saccharum belongs to this graminate. It's a big family. Composite also big family. Now comes under family Leguminosae. We have to study 3 families. One is Papilionoideae, Faboideae, Cisalpinioideae, Mimosoideae, of which Papilionaceae we already studied. Now, how these 3 families will be distinguished? Mainly by characters of flowers, especially corolla and androecium. I think that part is clear. Now we can proceed to its systematic position. Class is dicot, subclass Polypetalae, series Caliciflorae, order is Rosales, family Leguminosae, divided into 3 subfamilies, Papilionaceae, Cisalpinaceae, Mimosae. Papilionaceae already we discussed. Now we have to compare Cisalpinaceae and Mimosae. So when we come to Cisalpinaceae and Mimosae, the diagram, calyx, corolla, androecium, gynoecium, floral diagram. First I will explain it, then we can come back to diagram. So Cisalpinaceae. Okay. It is basically shrubs or trees or climbers. Herbs will be less. Leaves will be usually pinnate in nature. Simple, but it is less. Simple can be possible, but it is less in number. Inflorescence is raceme. Flowers, zygomorphic, generally sepals, usually 5. We can compare with the floral diagram also. Sepals, usually 5. It is polysepalous. Imbricate generally, petals, usually 5. It is also free. Odd petal, see the diagram. Odd petal is small. That is this one. Small petal is small. And posterior. Imbricate is division. Androecium usually 10. Stamens, gynoecium superior, monocarpillary. That is regarding this Cisalpinaceae, say calyx and corolla show imbricate is division. Then calyx, it is almost descendingly imbricate. Corolla, it is ascendingly imbricate. Then floral formula, zygomorphic, bisexual, K5, C5, A10, gynoecium ovary superior, 1. And some important plants in that list: cassia, bohenia, cisalpinia, tamarind, saraca, Haematoxylon, dies extractor, Delonix, Parkinsonia. That is regarding Cisalpinaceae. Now we'll explain the other family, Mimosae, with a diagram. Okay. When we come to Mimosae, this part, okay. Mimosae, it is shrubs or trees. Herbs can be possible. Woody climbers are there. Leaves will be bipinnate. Inflorescence is head. That we have to take care. Mimosae inflorescence is usually head or can be spike. Flower is small, so assemble. Then sepals 5, floral formula we can check. Sepals 4 to 5. That way, generally gamosepalous, generally. The variation can be there. Valvate, petals 5 or 4. Generally gamopetalous, that is why that bracket. Valvate, stamens 10 or male. And calyx, both case it is valvate. We can find them. Corolla also valvate. Calyx and corolla, both case I meant the calyx and corolla in Mimosae, both are valvate. In Papilionaceae, it is imbricate. But remember, calyx descendingly, corolla ascendingly in Papilionaceae. Mimosae, calyx and corolla, it is valvate. I think that idea clear. Now floral formula, actinomorphic, here we can compare. Then bisexual, K5 united or 4, C 5 to 4 may be united or valvate. Then androecium, that is numerous or can be 10, ovary superior 1. Then some economically important plants, acacia, mimosa, Pithaglobium, Acacia catechu, Acacia nilotica, Albizia lebec, it is for timber yielding purpose, Mimosa pudica, Enteta, Prosopis. These are some plants seen in this family. Now after that, 5 theory question and 5 NEET model question with the key. So what all things we learned in this episode? We can just proceed. So morphology of flowering plants, 7th part, last one. So by which remaining 4 families will be over, and we'll be discussing Asteraceae, Poaceae, Cisalpinaceae, Mimosae. Asteraceae, in all families, we'll discuss systematic position. Then largest family, worldwide distribution, mainly herbs, shrubs also seen. Tree forms are less. Example is Vernonia arborea. Then when we come to root, typical taproot, but root tubers in Dahlia. Stem, it is slender. Trichomes will be there. Leaves normally alternate, sometimes opposite. Inflorescence important, it is head or capitulum, most advanced inflorescence, minimum material, maximum efficiency. Entire head is analogous to single flower due to the involucral bracts perform the function of protection. Then simple heads are of 3 types, that is just outside, discoid, radiate, and ligulate. Flower, it is regular, irregular, epigynous, pentamerous, bisexual, unisexual, complete or incomplete, ligulate or tubular, bracteate or bracteate. Florets means individual small flowers. Ray florets will be there, disc florets will be there. Then after that, an area of question, comparison of ray and disc, differences, which is male, which is bisexual, and the formula, etc. Then calyx, that is present. It may be converted into bristles, pappus, parachute mechanism for dispersal. Corolla 5, then forms a tubular structure. 3 types will be there. Androecium, stamens 5, epipetalous. Syngenetious, another important term, anthers united, filaments free. Gynoecium, bicarparis in carpus, inferior unilocular placentation is basal, just like graminae. Then fruit is very famous. It is called cypsella, with the persistent hairy pappus for dispersal. Seed non-endospermic, again hairy pappus, helps to disperse. Then economic side, some important plants given. Then we entered into Graminae, Poaceae, most economically useful family. Grass family, study of grasses, agristology, monocots, so features of monocots will be there. Then cosmopolitan, mainly herbs, Some tree forms will be the dendrocalamus and bambusa. Stem will become means aerial stems are generally hollow, shape is cylindrical, nodes and neurons usually end with inflorescence. Other types also seen. Leaves parallel venation, presence of ligule, then rolling and unrolling, bulliform cells or motocell, rigidity and placidity, then inflorescence is spikelet, where I drawn separate diagram, then photograph, etc., starting with the rachilla, then that is spikelet got small axis, rachilla, two opposite rows of bracts close, one above the other. The lowest two bracts are sterile and are called steroglooms. Then steroglooms are followed by fertile bloom, lemma or flowering bloom. Valley is a structure present between fertile bloom and rachilla. Photograph given there, labeled there, so very clear. Next, we have to proceed with the NCERT old diagram with the floral diagram, floral formula. Then we entered into flowers, usually bisexual, then lodicle, it is equivalent to perianth, represented by 2 or 3 minute scale. Then androecium stamens 3 to 6, versatile frelping. Following the distribution, gynoecium monocarpellary, superior, placentation is basal. Whether is stigma, fruit is caryopsis or grain. And here you can find floral diagram, another representation of inflorescence, then floral diagram, floral formula, etc. So it will be easy, theoretical aspect. Then plants of economic aspect, a lot of our main food given there with their common name and scientific name. Now come family Leguminosae, 3 subfamilies, Papilionaceae over. Now we have to proceed with Cisalpinaceae and Mimosae, and systematic position. Then Cisalpinaceae and Mimosae. One by one, when we come to Cisalpinaceae, diagram I will show you. Cisalpinaceae, shrubs, trees, climbers, leaves will be pinnate, then simple, but less. Simple leaves will be less, raceme, zygomorphic. Then sepals usually 5, polysepalous, imbricate, generally petals usually 5, free, odd petal is small. You can compare, odd petal is small, this one. And posterior, imbricate, androecium 10, gynoecium superior, monocarpellary. Now coming into Mimosae, shrubs, trees, herbs, woody climbers, bipinnate leaves, pinnate nature will be the inflorescence set or a spike, very small. Then sepals 5 or 4 united, generally gamosepalous, valvate, petals 5 or 4, generally petalous, valvate, stamens 10 or many. Then, the comparison, some economically important plants from both sides. Then 5 theory question, then 5 NEET model question with the key. If you like this episode, subscribe all, like it, share it, comment on it. We can meet later. Take care. Bye. Subscribe it, so all shorts, all questions you'll be getting. Thank you. We can meet later. Take care.